For you on the channel this Thursday morning, Angelo Agrizzi has reached a settlement with the SA Human Rights Commission. The former Bosasa executive has admitted to several racial slurs. He's now agreed to pay 200,000 rand to a charity promoting social cohesion. Let's get you the very latest now from Agrizzi's attorney, Daniel Witz, who joins us on the line now. Mr. Witz, thanks very much for your time on eNCA now. What's your client's response to this decision by the SA Human Rights Commission?
Thank you for having me on the line, and thank you to the listeners. Our client is happy that this matter could be settled. He didn't want it to continue more than it already has, purely because he has shown remorse and apologized both at the Zondo Commission and today on the steps of court. And he's just happy that a resolution could be reached that benefits both parties, as well as the Barney Mokatle Foundation in Alexandra.
I'm sure he's also relieved that it entails in some ways a fine and perhaps not something more severe.
The criminal matter was provisionally withdrawn by the National Prosecuting Authority a few weeks ago. This matter was purely with regards to the Human Rights Commission. Again, you can't put a penalty on the use of a racial term and a racial slur because my colleague from the Human Rights Commission used precedent from previous cases. But again, my client is highly remorseful and highly regretful for saying the words, especially in the new Cyril Ramaphosa, our new president's new dawn and new South Africa that he's hoping to promote.
So in terms of the 200,000 rand that will be paid to a charity specifically promoting social cohesion, who decides on where that money goes? Has your client made any decisions around the disbursement of that money?
So the Human Rights Commission advocated or nominated the charity and the organization that the money goes to. They chose the Barney Mokatle Foundation because they work very closely with them. And they also believed, because of the negative media that's been coming out of Alexandra recently with the horrible news and the riots coming from there, that it would be a good point to have some good going back into Alexandria. And over and above the money being donated by our client, he also intends to go there next week and continue working with the foundation to promote social cohesion and anti-racial South Africa.
So you're saying that he'll be visiting that organization next week. Will that be a once-off visit, or is it something that he intends to follow through with?
It's something that he intends to follow through with. It definitely won't be a once-off visit. And he has already made arrangements with the head of the foundation, as well as the unbelievable woman who run the creches for the children of Alexandria, to work with them in the future.
Mr. Witz, before we let you go, we've also received some information. We're getting reports that the SA Human Rights Commission has raised concerns around the conduct of members of Gavin Watson's family, and that perhaps the SA Human Rights Commission may be pursuing a similar issue with members of Gavin Watson's family. Is that something that you can comment on, something that you know about?
The Human Rights Commission, when we met with them prior to agreeing to the settlement, they asked us how the recording came about of Mr. Agrizzi. And we informed them that the recording was done without his permission and unlawfully by members of the Watson family in his private residence. Now, if you look at the Equality Act, it's very clear that a person who disseminates hate speech, which Mr. Agrizzi did not do, but rather the members of the Watson family did, are the people who should be held accountable. So my colleague from the Human Rights Commission has informed me that they will be pursuing action against those members of the Watson family.
And who are those members? Are they children of Gavin Watson himself? Can you give us details on who those members are?
I can't give you details, unfortunately. I do believe that it is children of Gavin Watson, but all that information is with the Human Rights Commission.
All right. Well, thanks very much for your time